What's always drawn me to Southeast Asian cuisine is that it's quick, easy, nutritious, but especially fun. We've got great times coming up. I'm Thomas Robson, and this is Entree to Asia.
You know, all of us possess at least a vein of curiosity, even as we get older. That's why we like to try new things, new foods, for example. Chefs are no different. So imagine then what happens when a European or North American trained chef decides to relocate to Southeast Asia. That inquisitiveness is bound to translate in the kitchen sooner or later.
While we were in Bangkok, we met a chef who works in a kitchen that is half Asian and half Western. The result of this marriage is some very delicious food.
We're backstage in the kitchens of the Shangri-La Bangkok, where Chef George Baird is going to prepare for us a confit of duck with pandan leaves.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. What we're going to do is we're going to combine the very traditional style of cooking a confit and with an Asian influence would be using a pandan leaf to cook inside the duck fat.
Fantastic.
When I first came to Thailand, one of the most popular dishes in Thailand is a pandan chicken, as you know, and I thought, well, why restrict it to chicken? And I thought, well, maybe it would go nice with duck, and of course, once we experiment in Asia, I think that it goes very, very well. Basically, here we have duck leg trimmed and deboned on the thigh.
I see.
Okay, now what I'm going to do first of all is basically I have to marinate this for at least 2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days marination.
Marination with rock salt and garlic, and that would go into the refrigerator and we leave it there to sit to build up the flavour of the duck meat.
Could you give us an idea just of how that marination comes together?
Basically what we do is we take the duck leg inside, we take some garlic, just lightly stud the meat with the garlic.
Nice large slices of garlic.
Sure,
at that.
but I mean after the marination we'd obviously take that off because it might be a little bit too strong, and then just liberally sprinkle with the rock salt. And I will show you.
So we'll just pretend that that's gone off into a fridge for 2 to 3 days?
Yeah. Now here I have some duck fat. Now duck fat, this is rendered duck fat. What this is actually is the trimmings from the duck that when we bone out the breast and the leg, we take the duck fat and we mince it. Then we take the minced duck fat and then we put it in with some water. Then we put it on a slow cooking stove and the water will evaporate and it will leave the oil behind, and all the residue and the crispy skin will fall to the bottom. So it actually clarifies. It's clarified duck fat.
And then at that point you'll pour it through some kind of strainer,
yeah, we'll
sieve
use
or whatnot?
some kind of muslin cloth. Okay. And
so a little bit of cheesecloth perhaps?
Yeah. What we'll do now is we just pop the duck legs into the duck fat, like so. Then we'll take some whole clove of garlic. 3 should be enough. Then we'll take some of the pandan leaf and we'll just put into the sides here. And then what we'll do is we'll just cover it over. The secret of cooking a confit is to cook it very, very slowly. So we cover this over, like so. Okay, and this will go into the oven about 150 to 200 Fahrenheit, very, very slow. Obviously this takes 2 or 3 hours, but I have actually one finished confit inside the oven, and if I just take it out for you, and you can...
So this pan would go into the oven 2 or 3 hours later.
2 or 3 hours
you come
later.
back.
Yeah.
May I move this one?
Yeah, please, if you wouldn't mind. Let me just put this on this thing still here. Okay, now immediately when you take this off, you're going to get hit with such a strong smell of duck and the flavour. And you can see that it's cooking just on a light simmer. like that. And you can see that the skin has already started to crisp up.
That's amazingly wonderful.
Okay, so I'll leave that there to cool, and then we'll go through the duck breast.
Not wasting any part of the duck.
Exactly. So all the fat's being used. I mean, we make the sauce from the bones. We got the duck breast here, which I'm going to go through the marinade here. Basically, this is the typical pandan marinade that they use in Thailand, and it consists of
Now,
sesame.
when you say typical pandan marination, you mean like for the pandan chicken?
For the
which is so
pandan
popular.
chicken.
Okay.
So that's why we adapted this to use duck. There you'd have sesame oil, chopped garlic, you'd have a little bit of sugar, you'd have some oyster sauce, and then at the moment they use the tomato ketchup to give it a kind of a sweet but sour twist to the
Okay.
taste. When you've marinated the duck, what you need to do is basically make sure that you don't leave too much marinade onto the skin. If you leave the marinade onto the skin, you end up that when you cook over the duck, you're going to caramelize the sugar, and it's probably end up black.
It'll blacken and burn before the duck's done.
Exactly.
So at that point, you can even take a cloth and just wipe the skin clean.
And just wipe the skin clean, but keep a little bit of marinade, as you can see, onto the meat. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to season the duck with a little bit of salt.
I notice you season the meat side.
Yeah. So what we need to do is basically put a little touch of oil inside our pan here and just let that warm through a little bit.
Now, the pan has been well heated beforehand.
It's important to heat basically because it helps to seal the meat. What I like to do is I like to seal the meat side first. Very fast, and then turn it over and sit on top of the fat. So take the duck breast and just seal our meat side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over onto its fat side. That then would be acting as a suckle to stop the meat from actually burning, and it's also make the fat crispy. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to finish it inside the oven. That will take approximately 4 to 5 minutes to cook on the fat side. And then I'll take it out when it's cooked, and then I'll leave it to rest for about 4 to 5 minutes.
Leaving it to rest in order to keep the juices in the meat instead of running out.
Exactly. I'd keep the nice pinkness of the meat when we slice.
So the heat of the duck itself will continue cooking it.
Sure. Yeah.
But
that's very
evenly
important.
and gently.
Evenly and gently.
The key to the duck.
Uh-huh.
Well, we've just come from the other side of the kitchen here, the western side, and now we're at the eastern side of the same kitchen line, the same production line.
Yeah, Tom, now we're going to actually finish off our dish. What we're going to do now is the duck has rested, the duck breast has rested. We're going to take the confit, the duck confit, and Kundicha is going to do a very traditional pandan fold with the pandan leaf. So, Kundicha, if you just show...
So here's the duck leg. It's rested after being in the confit.
That's right.
The net has been removed. At this point, we take off whatever twine and whatnot we use to tie it up.
Yeah, and what he's going to do now, he's going to flip over the duck leg, and he's going to put the pandan leaf onto the leg.
If I didn't know better, I'd say that's a Boy Scout tie.
Yeah, really. I mean, that is a technique, huh?
So simply by folding the leaf in the middle,
Yeah,
and orienting that around the leg,
around the leg.
pull the leaves back,
Exactly.
up, and there's the wrap.
And there's the wrap, and it's. I mean, you have to do 200 or 300 of these things to really get it, you know, because it's quite difficult. But you know, for this dish, because this dish has a theme, it has a pandan theme. and we're going to finish it off like that. So from start to finish, we're going to finish it off.
And of course, the pandan leaf chicken is always cooked right in a pandan leaf as well. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. So, you know, obviously we have to cook the duck leg first. And what he's going to just do is just going to trim off a nice sharp edging. Now he's going to deep fry in the wok oil.
So here we come over to the wok with the hot oil.
Okay, that will help crisp up the skin and also infuse some flavor into the duck confit with the pandan leaf.
So at two separate stages, we've infused the pandan flavor in the confit itself, and now in the finishing.
Yep.
The aroma is amazing, very strong, very agreeable.
Okay, so we will finish with a nice crispy duck flavored with pandan. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish the dish. So there's my duck leg. To finish the dish, Kundicha is now going to fry the sprouts. I'll basically take my plate and I'm going to take some creamed potato and I'm going to pipe just on top some nice creamed potatoes, like so. Then I'm going to take my pandan duck confit and I'm just going to lay it right on the top there, like so. Then I'm going to take my wok fried vegetables. Put that onto the plate. That will act as a bed for the duck breast. Like so. Then I'm going to take my duck breast, which should be well rested by now, so we should have a nice pink colour, and just slice the duck. Keeping the duck together. So I'm just going to pick that up and I'm going to put that onto the sprouts.
Quite the presentation. The potatoes, the confit with the pandan leaf, duck breast, the vegetables, and now the crowning glory,
the sauce.
In just a few words, can you tell us about the sauce?
The sauce will be, like I said before, Tom, it will be used from the bones of the duck. Like we said, none of the duck will be wasted. We just do a very basic kind of duck jus. Okay.
Well reduced.
Yeah, and it will not too strong, just enough. Just put a little bit of sauce right at the front of the plate here. So.
Just a bit on the duck, hardly any at all, resisting the temptation that I'd have to flood it.
You know, once we keep the sauce on the bottom, and then you can see the golden brown of the duck skin, the wok fried sprouts, a nice combination of colours and flavours.
Congratulations, we are just astounded. This is beautiful. Fantastic, George. Thank you very much.
Tom.
Chef, thank you very much as well. Great job, well done. A true team effort, a good idea of how it works in a 5-star hotel where it's important that East meets West.
Thank you again.
Chef George really presented an awesome main dish. I love that duck. Something that would go well with a piece of duck like that, or any other kind of grilled meat or rich meat, is this salad called Som Tham. Now, Som means sour, and Tham means to pound. So this is a sour and pounded salad This is cool. We're not going to make a spice paste today. We're going to make a salad in a mortar and pestle. That should be really cool. Som Tham comes from the Chiang Mai area, or what we know as the Isan region of Thailand. An old empire existed called Isan, and it ruled most of Thailand for a long, long time. In fact, it's one of the original places where Thai cuisine comes from. So here's an old dish with a great tradition. Should you ever be in Chiang Mai and you ask somebody, hey, where can I get good Som Tham? Probably 3 other people will answer at the same time, and they'll all be telling you to go to different places for the best Som Tham. So it's really an interesting salad with a great history. Now, what it's made with is some shredded green papaya. Now, not the little tiny sweet papayas, but the larger Asian papayas. They're peeled and then they're shredded, and the taste is neutral. It's not very strange. It's got a nice crispy texture, very fresh flavor, and best of all, it's loaded in fiber and it's got a ton of vitamin A. It's an incredibly healthy fruit. If you can't find green papaya, don't sweat it. You can use cabbage, you can use carrots, you can use any kind of coarse vegetable that you might use in a slaw, because basically this is a slaw type salad. Along with our green papaya, we have shredded carrot, we have some diced tomatoes, and we have some long beans. Right down in front here, I have some yard-long beans, and of course they're not really a yard long, but look how long they are. They're simply beautiful. Again, another great source of fiber, a delicious vegetable, and yes, they are a little bit on the tough side. You can use any kind of green bean you want, especially if you've come across some rather stringy ones, because this salad is tham. It gets pounded. So don't worry about using your best green beans. Now, the dressing for this salad, well, there's a little pounding there for sure. Here we have some red chilies, we have some garlic, lots of it, lime juice, sugar to balance the heat and bring everything together, and some fish sauce. The lighter fish sauce you can find, the better. Hold up the bottles when you're in the store to the light and look for a nice amber color. If it says extra fine or special fish sauce, you're off to the good start. And remember, fish sauce is made with anchovies. It has a wonderful flavor. When you open the bottle, it should smell fishy, but aromatic and pleasant. So look out for a good quality fish sauce, and once you find one, stick with it. To garnish our salad today, we're going to use some dried shrimp, and we'll pound those up into a fine floss. Here's a package of dried shrimp, just to give you an idea of how you might find them in the store. Often they're in the produce section, refrigerated to keep them fresher longer. And you're looking for ones that aren't dried rock hard. I don't know if you can see this right here, but this one is kind of soft and squeezy. It's not mushy, it's dried perfectly, but since it's not rock hard, it'll be easy for the pounding step back here in the mortar and pestle. To get the shrimp ready for the garnish, simply pound them until they make a lovely light floss, a shrimp floss like this. You can use a small mortar and pestle or a food processor or even a blender. Grind them up, even grind up the whole package if you want. Wrap them tightly and put them in the freezer to keep little bits ready for future use. We also have some crushed roasted peanut, and that'll be the last part of our garnish for this salad.
Day 10. The Thai people believe that when they clear land for a new building, the spirits are disturbed in the process. So along with every new structure that is built, a small spirit house will be erected. Here the spirits have a place to live, and the local dominant spirit of the land they have just built upon is appeased. Workers and people in the local employ regularly leave offerings at the spirit house. Among the small gifts can be found incense and strung flowers. Small foreign children are frequently heard to exclaim excitement at finding a dollhouse. This is all done because the very spiritual Thai believe the spirits can and will affect future events. Better safe than sorry.
Okay, so let's make some som tam right away then. First thing we need to do is make the dressing, and we're going to make that with, as I said before, some red chili. I've got some lovely slices of fresh red chili like this. If you like it hotter, use the small ones. If you want to just have the flavor of chili without the heat, use the larger ones like I'm doing today. Already have a pinch of coarse salt in the mortar and pestle. And remember to cover the mortar and pestle whenever you're pounding something with chilies to protect your eyes. And of course, your guests who will be clamoring around you to see what you're doing. Okay, pound that up. Next, some garlic. And I said before, lots of garlic. Well, we know that garlic is good for us, so why not? And you'll see the flavor is amazing. I often bring this salad to potluck parties, and it goes over great. Excellent. Now, the next ingredients are sugar, fish sauce, and lime juice. So I'm going to use, first off, about half of the sugar. And really, this is a great salad to make by touch. Add a little bit, taste a little bit, and then keep on going in that manner until you get the flavor that you're looking for. Fish sauce. And at that point, you begin stirring. And now, lime juice. Again, I'm going to hold some back and taste later and see how it works out. We're working with our 5 favorite flavors in Southeast Asian cooking: sour, sweet, salt, hot, and bitter. So this is a good salad for practicing using those flavors and balancing them as you cook. Cover the dish again, and I've got the green beans in there, and I'm going to just carefully bruise them in the dressing. And at this point, it can get a bit splashy, so go gently. You're not mashing the beans, so you don't need to hit too hard. You're simply bruising them so that their flavor comes out in the dish. So this bruising gets all the flavors into the juice of the salad, the dressing as it were, and now it's time for the shredded papaya. And hey, now you're probably wondering what green papaya looks like. Here's 2 very typical examples. One that's kind of long and skinny, another one that's kind of big and fat. And if you have to decide which one is better, well, I'd go here. You'll get more grating action out of this one. In other words, it'll work better on a grater, shredding it to make the salad. So here's 2 green papayas. Don't worry about deciding which one is ripe or not, because they're not ripe. They're green. Underripe papayas, that's the trick to this salad. So we'll take our papaya slaw, or the grated papaya, and we'll add now all the dressing that we've made with the green beans, the chilies, the garlic, lemon juice, fish sauce, sugar. And in Chiang Mai, they have beautiful, huge mortar and pestle to make this dish in, and unfortunately, we don't. And I wouldn't expect you to buy a big one for such a specialized dish either. So here what we're going to do is continue to bruise everything in a big bowl. And you don't have to be too concerned about how badly you bruise this, or, you know, try it out and see what you like. The main thing is that it remains crispy and crunchy, but you just mash things to mix the flavor in together. Next, we'll add the grated carrot. And that should do. Just think about what kind of color you want it to have and how you want it to look together. Our tomatoes, diced tomatoes, quite a fair amount of them. Keep the nutrition value here going. We already pounded some shrimp, so I'm going to take just a little bit of our pounded shrimp floss and mix that in, just so that I'm sure that it'll get throughout the salad the way it should. If you make this for a potluck, one suggestion I would like to make is don't put in the pounded dried shrimp and the peanuts. Hold those back until the very last minute. Then you come in, the salad smells amazing, it looks absolutely brilliant, and then you put the garnish on top, and before you know it, it's gone. You'll be a star at the potluck. There we have it, all nicely mixed up. Let's put this on a serving plate here. This lovely Thai pedestal dish. This is great barbecue fare, so even if it's winter time and you're doing sort of like an indoor grill or a broiled steak or roast chicken, this just goes along so nicely, and it's so incredibly healthy. There. Make that look nice. Next, the pounded shrimp, or the shrimp that you've ground up in your food processor. And although this is authentic, this is part of the Som Tham that we're making, you can leave the shrimp out. It's optional. If it really doesn't catch your fancy, well, nobody's going to hold it against you, because you can always add your own touch when you're cooking Southeast Asian food. And I guarantee you, it'll still taste fantastic. Crushed peanuts on top, and there you have it, a fantastic Som Tham salad. Chef George Baird's Fusion Kitchen was a real treat to discover. A beautiful Western cooking line with all the oven, griddle, everything, right beside a classical Cantonese workstation. What a great example of East meets West in action. More great discoveries to come on Entree to Asia. I'm Thomas Robson.
To find out more about Entree to Asia, including recipes and program descriptions, visit our website at www.entreetoasia.com.